Hello students, today in this video we will talk about supports of uterus, particularly ligaments and the arterial supply and venous drainage of the uterus. In the last video we have talked about the anatomy of uterus along with body and cervix and fundus part of the uterus. So these are the supports of uterus. They are called as primary support and secondary support. Primary supports are fibromuscular. They are in the pelvic diaphragm, perineal body and urogenital diaphragm are muscular type of supports, while the pubocervical, transverse cervical, uterosacral and uterine axis and round ligament, they all are ligamentary supports. While some are the fascia supports also, they are the vesicovaginal, endopelvic and rectovaginal fascia. Now we will explain one by one. First one, the pelvic diaphragm. First one, the pelvic diaphragm. It supports the pelvic viscera. This is the pelvic diaphragm and resist any rise in the intra-abdominal pressure. The pelvic diaphragm is formed by so many muscles, in which this is the levator ani muscle and the coccygeus. This is the coccygeus. This is the levator ani hole, and levator ani muscle is also formed by some of the many muscles, in which here we can see the iliococcygeus and pubococcygeus muscle. Pubococcygeus muscle is very much important because this is inserted, this pubococcygeus muscle is inserted between, some part is also inserted between the perineal body, which is present between the rectum and the vagina. This muscle is very much important because during parturition, during delivery time, if the pubococcygeus muscle is torn, this muscle is if torn, then the support of the vagina will be lost and the vagina tends to sink into the vestibule. So the prolapse of uterus may happen. So this pelvic diaphragm is very much important, and during the time of delivery, if this levator ani muscle and this pelvic diaphragm will be if damaged, then the prolapse of uterus may happen. Second, we can see in this diagram, this is also the pelvic diaphragm. This is the pelvic diaphragm, and these are the blue layers, the superficial layer and the inferior layer of the pelvic diaphragm. As we can see, this also supports the vagina. This pelvic diaphragm supports urethra, vagina and rectum all. This is the pelvic diaphragm, and if this pelvic diaphragm lost, any of the muscle is lost in the pelvic diaphragm, vagina or uterus will prolapse outside. So its pelvic diaphragm works as an anchor or gives the strength to all the pelvic viscera. The second one is the perineal body. As we can see, it is present between the vaginal orifice and the anal canal or anus. This is the perineal body. All the muscles are attached to this perineal body and makes this a node. This is a fibromuscular node, and it maintains the integrity of the pelvic floor. Now come to the next, urogenital diaphragm. Urogenital diaphragm, as its name explains, it is connected with the uro and the genital, means urethra and vagina. This is the urogenital diaphragm. It is maintained by these two layers. This is the superficial layer and this is the inferior layer of the urogenital diaphragm. The muscles are attached to this diaphragm and it gives the strength to the urethra and the vagina. And the next one is uterine axis. I have explained in the last lecture, this is the anteverted position, position, and this is the anteflexion position. This anteversion is maintained between the vagina and the cervix, and this anteflexion is maintained on the long axis of itself on the uterus. This is 90 degree and this is 120 degree. Now the next one, pubocervical ligament. Pubocervical ligament, as the name mentions, it is formed between the pubis. This is the pubis, this is the anterior portion, and this is the cervix. So pubocervical ligament is present between the pubis and then it anchors to the cervix, and then again it goes up to the pubic symphysis or pubis. So this is the pubic symphysis, pubocervical ligament. It maintains and it connects the cervix to the posterior layer of the pelvis. Next one, the transverse cervical ligament. There are so many names of this transverse cervical ligament. This is the fan shaped structure. It is also called as lateral cervical ligament, cardinal ligament, paracervical or McEnroth ligament. They are the fan shaped condensations. These are the transverse cervical ligament and they connect the cervix up to the lateral pelvic wall. This is the transverse cervical ligament. Next, uterosacral ligament, which connects this is the uterus and this is the sacrum. So connects the uterus with the sacrum is the uterosacral. This is the uterosacral ligament, and in the side diagram we can see this is the uterosacral uterosacral ligament. This connects the sacrum to the uterus. And pubocervical, this is pubic symphysis. This pubic symphysis connects the uterus. This is the cervix. This is the pubocervical ligament. Now the next one, round ligament. Round ligament, as we can see, this is the round ligament. It is present between the two layers of the broad ligament. In this diagram, okay, this is the round ligament. It is present, originates from the superolateral angle of the uterus, from where the uterine tape also begins. This is the broad ligament as a whole. This yellowish color is the broad ligament, in which the round ligament is embedded between the two layers of the broad ligament. Round ligament is very, it gives support to the uterus. The course of the round ligament, it starts from the lateral angle or superolateral angle of the uterus, then it goes forwards, then it enters into the deep inguinal ring. Deep inguinal ring, it follows into the inguinal canal. Here is the inguinal canal, and finally it opens into the superficial inguinal ring. This inguinal canal is from the deep inguinal ring to the superficial inguinal ring. So round ligament courses from the superolateral angle of the uterus, then enters into the deep inguinal ring, the inguinal canal, then from exit from the superficial inguinal ring, and then it breaks into the thin filaments and blends with the tissue of the labium majus muscle. It supports the uterus anteriorly, round ligament. So this is all about the ligaments in the short way. Now the arterial supply, uterus, mainly it is supplied by the major uterine artery, which is the branch of the anterior division of the internal iliac artery, while uterus is also supplied by some of the parts of the ovarian artery. This is the major uterine artery. This uterine artery also supplies to the vaginal part, this one, the medial 2/3 of the uterine tube, this one, here also the ovary, some of the part of the ovary, the ureter, and to the structures present in the broad ligament. So uterine artery. And the venous drainage, venous drainage occurs by the uterine vein, ovarian vein, and vaginal veins, and finally they drain into the same word, internal iliac vein. Now we will come on the applied aspect of the uterus. Now anteverted uterus is the normal position. Applied aspect of the uterus, this is anteverted position. Axes all are maintained, anteversion and anteflexion. If the anteflexion margin is not maintained, axis is not maintained, then it becomes erect. This is called as retroverted uterus. And if it moves or bends in the opposite direction, then the condition is called as retroversioflexion. Second one, the prolapse of the uterus, when this pelvic diaphragm is torn, any of the muscle of the pelvic diaphragm is torn, the vagina or the uterus may prolapse. This is called as the prolapse of the uterus. In this way, some of the hysterectomy, I have already told that removal of the uterus is called as hysterectomy. In the same way, hysterotomy, that is the opening of the uterus, is called as hysterotomy, and one word is hysteropexy. Fixity of an abnormally mobile uterus is called as hysteropexy. This is all about the quick revision of the uterus. If you like my video, please comment and share my video more and more. If any comments, please mention in the box. Thank you.